So I oversee our kind of smaller special projects, I guess you would say. So I have site-based teams on several different projects.
So how many have you got at once?
4 or 5.
Okay.
So of varying size and degree, and then I just try and spend a day where I can on each one, or half a day where I can. Some are quite close to each other.
Yeah.
Just to drop in and just do people need support? Are contractors not doing what they said they would? Are there any health and safety issues? Have there been any instructions? Have the client made any changes that we need to pick up? Does anything need recosting, re-reviewing? Have there been variations to the contract that we need to review? There's quite a lot of that. Things sometimes end up in the grey, and whose responsibility that might be. We have to kind of navigate that to kind of come to a head, and then really just supporting whoever needs support to push to get the project to the finish line on time, on budget, and with a happy end user.
And what's one thing that you know today that you wish you'd known?
I think it's just, and everyone would probably say this, but I think it's just never assume. I think prior to being in construction, I kind of had sort of hands-on kind of work, where you're kind of relying on yourself.
Yeah.
And so you've done the task that you've been set right, or to the best of your ability, etc. Then you start managing other people, and the assumption is, well, I'm looking at the correct drawing, he must be looking at the correct drawing, and that may not be the case. And it's the same with things get delivered, everything comes in a brown box. Are these the lights for this room? Probably. Just assume they are. Up they go. Oh, they're not the lights for this room. So it's that kind of learning curve of where we now have kind of these, rigorous paperwork, which everyone will say there's too much paperwork in construction now. But I think it is necessary because it's just these checkpoints, hold points to make sure what we're doing is correct. Things get updated. Technology helps a lot. We use online portals now. So, for the site guys, they can only get hold of the latest drawing. So that really,
that's cool.
They shouldn't be working to anything old. Obviously, if it gets printed, that's a different story. But everyone now, if you say, can you get the drawing? And it's on your phone. So it's quite good to kind of keep those portals updated. That way everyone's working from the most recent information. So I'd say, never assume that someone is doing what you think they're doing, because chances are something's gone awry somewhere.
What are 3 really smart VE value engineering hacks you've seen either on site or you've done yourself?
Lighting always gets VE'd.
Okay, interesting. Funny this has come up, but carry on.
I've done a few projects where either an architect will have designed, or they've got a lighting designer in, and they do sort of want the world, and lighting can be incredibly expensive. So unfortunately, when the clients and the QSs are skimming through the numbers, that number tends to pop because it's always quite large. There's so many different suppliers out there that people don't know about, and people are able to mirror other things. There's new tech coming out. You can whittle that number down, but still get the same effects, feature lighting, spreads of light and everything. So there's ways and means of making that work. We did a project where I had a really long light recessed through a corridor, and it was a really busy corridor, and it didn't work. And they said, we got to change all this light. And it was a massive upheaval to try and take a ceiling down, take everything out, put a new one back in this live area. And so one of our electricians just said, well, of an evening, we can take all the internals out. You can leave your shell. We'll send it away. They'll remake exactly the same light fitting to fit back inside, and you can just click it back in, and back in an evening. And we did that. And it was much more cost effective because we didn't have to rip anything. We didn't have to do any facilitating works, and we didn't impact the kind of the stopping of the reception space. So all those kind of costs and impacts and people's days and things kind of all went away. But the problem is as well, on the other side of that, you go into an office, it's got grid lighting, it's got these panel lights. Currently, it's not sustainable to rejig the gubbins and make it work again because they're so cheap to manufacture.
How do you think construction is going to change over this year or next 12 months? So what are we going to start to see becoming more normal?
Well, I think we can't avoid AI. Not necessarily on the delivery. I mean, I've seen robots that will mark out floors for you and things like that off the drawing, that sort of stuff. That's fine. I don't think
that's coming.
Bigger schemes are using them, definitely bigger schemes, but I don't think smaller projects, it's worth it, because for the guys to still get their lasers out, mark it, put them up. It's quite easy. I mean, the good thing about that robot, you can set off at 8 o'clock at night and it will just do its thing. And by the time everyone comes back in the morning, the next floor's marked out. So it's quite clever. But I think scaling that up might be, or even scaling it down for smaller projects, probably quite difficult. But I think in terms of AI for the drawings and stuff, I think we'll see a lot more visuals and kind of Matterport scan, immersive. Clients can kind of almost walk a space in a 3D realm ahead of kind of delivery, or picking colours, picking samples. You can kind of get a bit of an idea. You know, normally the visual will be like from one end of a room and then the other end of the room, and you kind of get a bit of a feel of what it'd be. But I think there's going to be more in the day-to-day. You'll see more of this kind of immersive. You can, you know, either spin on your computer screen around a space like a Matterport scan, or you can chuck on a pair of goggles and kind of walk a space. And how does it flow? How does it work for your business? You said you want an extra meeting room, but it's a bit isolated from the other meeting rooms. Kind of just take a walk and so you think that works, and you kind of get that idea. How many times you look at a drawing and you think, what a huge space, and you go there and you think, it's tiny.